I would like to hand over to Peter again for our last topic, future technologies.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah. The future of spectacle lens production, smart technologies, disruptive technologies, that's the title. And my first question is, what opportunities do you see for new technologies such as liquid crystal lenses on the market? And I guess
so. I'm assuming this. I'm assuming I'm the person to answer this.
Yeah.
The way we see the liquid crystal lenses. First, I think we talked about manufacturing previously, and it's also interesting because manufacturing of our glasses is probably more resembling manufacturing of a phone or a smartwatch than it resembles manufacturing of glasses, because it's basically integrating a lot of electronic parts, batteries. The liquid crystal lens is basically a panel that's being manufactured by an LCD manufacturer. So this is the kind of manufacturing that we're dealing with, although we do intercept with I would say classic ophthalmic manufacturing too, because we then attach an RX lens to these glasses if we want to have it a fixed power rather than only dynamic power. But in terms of the opportunities, the way we see it at Deep Optics is we say that the human vision system is a dynamic system. It's not a static one. And for various reasons, we lose our dynamics over time. If we're talking about presbyopia, for example, that's the dynamics that we lose over time. But then there are other conditions as well where some of the dynamic mechanisms in our vision system are not operating. And wherever we see this need for an adaptive solution, this is where we see the opportunity for our lenses technology. Obviously, progressives, multifocals, they are the most popular and successful solution for presbyopia, but in a sense, they're not a natural solution. They are an evolution of basically having one lens with various focal lengths integrated into a single area, but then a tunable lens, a dynamic lens, is more behaving like the natural eye that can focus to the different distance depending on what we're looking at, just the way our vision system works. So in terms of where we see the technology fit, we see it wherever we see a need to change the focal distance. So that can be for presbyopia. That is also the case for augmented reality, for example, or virtual reality, where you need to wear some glasses over your glasses, and that's too bulky, that's too cumbersome. And then what you would want is to have these headsets come with some sort of RX programmable solution that you can do. So these are also applications that we see that can benefit from this kind of technology.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mo?
Can I add something that I hope will be of interest to you? As you know, the higher the reading addition in a progressive lens, the more severe become the aberrations in the lateral parts of the lens. One company is, I think, coming to the market quite quickly with a pair of spectacles that they've asked me to try and which I'm quite comfortable with. I'm wearing them at the moment, and I don't know if I can get them close enough to the camera for you to look at and see that they look rather like a pair of rimless spectacles. But in fact, they are double lenses of Alvarez type construction. And at the moment, I'm focusing them on my computer and near. In other words, they're a pair of computer glasses. If I do this, I slide apart the Alvarez components, and that eliminates the 075 that was there when they were put in front of me. And so that's distance, that's intermediate, and that position where it's all the way in is near vision. So I benefit for distance, for general purpose, with a 125 edition, it happens to be, whereas I actually need a 250 ad, but with a 125 ad, I can certainly see the distance clearly, and I can see at arm's length around me quite comfortably. And if I have to, and the lighting is good, I could read like that. But I don't need to do that because I can change to computer glasses or to a pair of reading glasses. And they look, once again, like ordinary spectacles. Let me hold them closer to the camera so that you can see that they are, in fact, if I can adjust them in front of you, you see them moving quite easily. How successful this will be, who knows? But it's here and it's coming to the market, I'm told.
Yeah, you are using a similar wipe like with the 32 North glasses, where I think one has to wipe at this point.
Yes.
But you don't need any battery and
no batteries
and no small computers, so it cannot be hacked.
The battery is here.
The battery is here. Yeah. Yeah. Are there any other ideas about how about the market of liquid crystal lenses or similar solutions? Is that the future? Will the progressive edition lens, the conventional, disappear in a few years? What do you think? Maybe José, do we have an idea of that?
No, not really. I don't have. We don't have a real idea of how these new technologies could overcome standard lens production, standard progressive lenses. As they are right now, they have some advantages, they have some drawbacks, and time will tell. I agree that the correction of presbyopia, the actual correction of presbyopia with traditional lenses is not as good as we would like to be. Yeah, the substitution of the dynamical adjustment of the eye, of the natural adjustment with addition, either transverse addition like in a progressive lens or longitudinal addition as in intraocular lens, they're just not very good solutions. Probably I would say the best solution is the standard glasses, but then these new technologies can be revolutionary, of course. That depends on how the technology advances, reducing the drawbacks, and what the performance you get, and what the price that you can put these technologies in the market.
Yeah, just a second. I remember a patent from Johnson & Johnson 20 or 25 years ago, where they suggested to use such a technique, a liquid crystal technique, combined with an eye scanner, so that the aperture can be moved, and so on and so on. And this could be, if it would work, it could be it could be quite good for replacing the conventional progressive lens, but I think it's still much too complicated. And so I think we will still have to wait a few years or maybe decades, I don't know, for such a solution. But François wanted to add a comment.
Absolutely, because I had the chance to know the founder of a French company called La Claret in Lyon. Probably Yariv knows them as well, because could be a big competitor to them. I've seen the demo. I know how they started working, like Yariv, and they started making some lenses for mobile phones, and they sold this technology to Samsung. And I suggested them because I was their neighbor, I suggested that to use this technology for making ophthalmic lenses, and they did. And what they do now, because they managed to get subsidies from the European Union funds, they are they already made the prototypes, and they are implementing the technology more and more. They have some kind of laser detector on the frame here, which is measuring always the distance with to the object that is looked at, and automatically from that measurement it adjusts the power of the lenses. And well, I think it's maybe a bit similar to what Yariv is doing, but I tried myself. I was impressed. Just of course still need to be worked in the sense of reducing the cost, of reducing the weight, but I'm pretty sure that they will come up with something really worth it in the near future.
But their lenses are liquid lenses, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, liquid technology.
Yeah.
Too bulky right now, but if they manage to reduce that, that's a very interesting idea also as well.
Yeah, and another idea would be to go deeply into the eye, and to look for the source of the lack of accommodation. That means to replace the intraocular lens by something which can accommodate again. But as far as I know, I don't know how your experience is, but as far as I know, after the first few steps, I didn't hear much more about this technique. So I think more than one diopter of accommodation or something like this does not seem to be possible. And yeah, we need 2.5 at 60 years or so. So it's not enough. But maybe you have heard something different.
I remember that there was a venture involving Novartis and Google at the time, doing just that with liquid crystal lenses, intraocular lenses. And then recently there has been a new company in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, Mojo Vision. They're developing contact lenses displays that are used mostly for augmented reality display, but they're also pursuing presbyopia correction as well. So I think generally speaking, of course, I'm very biased myself, but I see companies, younger companies, older companies, bigger and smaller companies, and the tech is advancing ever so faster. I mean, the speed of development today is by far higher than what it used to be 20 years ago. And I cannot imagine the speed of development in 20 years from now. So materials, algorithms, miniaturizations of technology, all of these things will definitely push into new solutions. And you also, so you have the means, and then you also have the motivation, because there can be better solutions and there need to be better solutions. And now there is the technology to do that. So with all of this motivation around and all of these capabilities around, I'm pretty sure that in 10 years from now, this discussion will seem trivial. It would be clear that there are already advanced solutions in this direction. And like I say, the advancement will only be faster and faster, because technology is getting better and it's pushing the next technology to be much better, faster than it used to be. So I hope it's going to be deep optics, but I'm saying from a more general perspective that this is the way I see the trend going, and probably we'll see very exciting things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like very good closing words. But I still have one or two questions. For example, you were talking about materials, new materials, additive manufacturing, 3D printing. What is the situation right now? Does it have a chance in the market? For what is it worth? What can we do with additive manufacturing? What are the new perspectives? François?
Yeah, of course, I've been following this LuxExcel story, and I know the people there. I talked with them, and I could figure out what are the weaknesses of this technology. Unfortunately, they did not forecast that, and that may take quite a while before they are able to fix it, because it's really a material dependent technology. The materials that can be inkjet printed, like they do for 3D printing, are limited in the sense that we, as I said, we always have to compromise between the optical and the mechanical properties. And in a sense, they did well in terms of optical properties, but mechanical cannot work because the material is just too soft to overcome a lot of issues regarding mechanical strengths. And of course, the next operation will be the hard coating, AR coating that will come later on. And of course, all the features for regarding tinting, photochromics, and so on. That's why it's not gonna take off. But I've been part of another project, which to me it seems to be quite interesting, in the sense that with two Finnish engineers, we've been able to generate lenses with a laser from A to Z, starting from a plate, plastic sheets, and cutting the lenses and polishing them, finishing them with a surface roughness of 10 nanometers only. And this, the 4 surfaces within 50 seconds with a femtosecond laser. With this same laser technology, you can also apply hard NAR coating on top of that with laser ablation technology, that's called. This technology was originally used for some liquid from displays. And one of the engineers that was working with me, he's working also for the NASA. So that's we could automatize the whole production of a lens through this laser. This laser is a femtosecond laser, as I said, so it's working extremely fast. All the lens material that is treated with this laser just vaporizes. So of course it's the there is no, it gets into the atmosphere, but it can be, of course, collected. How long this will take to get into the market? Actually, when I started working on this project was in 2011 already, and but it requires a significant investment to get to the public. And well, I must say this is a matter of getting more people convinced about this to make it going further. I can only say this is another possibility of producing lenses fully with full automation, and in reason, let's say from the start of the manufacturing to the end, it takes less than 1 hour. That's what it is.
So, François, what would you say the main advantage of this approach? Like, what is the value of this? Who would benefit from it?
Well, you can have, of course, your surface completely designed. No imperfection. It's the laser is really designing the surface as a pixel, but really as a nanopixel, I would say. So perfect, the most possible perfect vision you can think of. The manufacturing cost, well, you just need to have someone who presses the button, and then in the end you get your lens. And last but not least, the lens will be actually pre-etched, so you can actually define what will be the final shape of the lens once it is mounted in the frame, so that you just work the lens surface that will be necessary for the final frame. And last but not least, also we made the photochromic coating with inkjet printing, so we could make a logo appearing when it's well, for fashion things, of course, but the photochromic coating will just be applied on the final shape of the lens, not on the full lens, which makes it also much more economical and fashionable.
François, I hope you call this subtractive manufacturing.
Yeah, could be. Could be, but you know, that's the two other guys who worked with me on this. Well, they are also working on so many things that now they are working for the army. So I cannot say more because, you know, it is the current situation.
How realistic is it that we will soon see more and more people walking around with smart glasses on the street? Andy, are you wearing smart glasses?
No, actually, I'm not wearing smart glasses. But I do think that we will see that more. And the reason I'm saying it is that now big companies are getting behind it and are pushing it. You probably all saw Mark Zuckerberg, and you know they rebranded even Facebook to Meta because it's all now about the metaverse, right? So if an industry giant like this is starting to push a technology, it likely is going to have an impact, and there are going to be some interesting questions around it, of course, like you know, if somebody is wearing those smart glasses, what do other people feel about that, right? I mean, do they feel spied on? Because now you can make the connection between the image of the person that you are seeing and you know, and the internet, and pull data on that person. There's going to be many questions around that, not just from a technology perspective, but also from an ethical perspective. Nevertheless, it is really interesting and exciting technology. So yes, I do think we'll see more of that in the future.
Yeah,
and I think it's
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
That
And
already...
I think it's going to be a quick development. I think it's going to happen now pretty fast. And that's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I was considering this ethical question already happened with the Google glasses. They removed the glasses because mainly of ethical concerns and social concerns, not because of the technology itself. Mm-hmm.
Can the
I think
smart
what's
glasses...
interesting, yeah, I think what's interesting about the ethical part. Thanks, Peter. Sorry. Because it's true, like Google Glass failed. One of the reasons it failed was indeed from the ethical perspective. People didn't like to be around people that have a camera on their face and they don't know if they're capturing them or not. And it would be interesting to see how Ray-Ban Stories is dealing with this, or is succeeding or not succeeding in this context. But I think it's interesting to see that we're talking about different generations, because Snapchat, for example, which is targeting a much younger audience, was quite successful with its glasses that had cameras very shortly after Google Glass and way earlier compared to Ray-Ban Stories. So it's also about which generation is dealing with these ethical questions. I think the ethics of the younger generation is going to be significantly different than ours. They have been born into the social media and social networks. Whatever we may think about this ethics, they're seeing this differently. But yeah, I think smart glasses. I was involved with quite a few augmented reality and virtual reality projects related to when we collaborated with these big companies, and there is a massive investment with all of these giants, not only Facebook, into smart glasses. It's a sort of a game theory, sort of a race. Kind of who's going to put the first smart glasses on the faces of people and win this real estate. It used to be desktops with Microsoft, and then phones with Google and Apple, and now who's going to win this platform? So obviously there's a race there, but I think you have to provide the user with value. You want the user to want it. So I think the key question remains is, why would we wear these smart glasses? What is the motivation of the end user, the consumer, to really buy these smart glasses? So we see we see some success with headphones, equipped glasses, but do we really need cameras on our glasses? I'm not sure, and I don't know if it's going to be. We'll need to see what the feature. The desired killer application that really makes these glasses succeed. So you have a lot of investment from the manufacturer's side, but then you need the need on the market, and that is yet to be answered, I think.
I think a display technology in those glasses could be interesting. You know, I'm an avid cyclist, for example, right? And I could imagine. It would be really nice to see my data, like, how fast I'm going, for example, how many miles I've done, and stuff like that, somehow displayed. Or I could also see, especially cycling, turn-by-turn directions, right? I mean, if I have a certain bike route that I want to ride, it would show up in my glasses. I think for me personally, that would be a cool benefit.
Yeah, I agree. I think most of the use cases that you see there are leading in this industry are enterprise, like, for example, technicians that can be guided remotely, or warehouse workers that deskless computing, that they have their hands busy with carrying stuff, but they do need to have a display. They do need to be able to see some data, visualize information related to what they're working with. So in the enterprise field, I think there are quite a few use cases. For the consumer, it's really more specialized cases. For example, biking, hiking, a lot of sports, driving. So much like the computers and the mobile phones started. They started from industrial, from enterprise uses, and then got to homes and then everyday lives. I think this could be the same path.
Hannah, you're a woman and you are young, so you may have a different perspective than we here in the panel discussion. So what do you think about smart glasses?
I'm not sure either, but but I definitely think that, as Yariv already mentioned, the younger generation has probably a different perspective on it. And I think smart glasses can be very interesting. It's just like if you can have a smart watch or you can have smart glasses, and a lot of people wearing smart watches at the moment. So I guess there's definitely potential. And I was also thinking about companies that do not include cameras, for example, because I also think that this is a bit critical, or more critical than smart glasses without cameras. But I visited, for example, some months ago, the company TÜS, a joint venture from Zeiss and the German Telekom. And they have very interesting smart glasses without a camera. So I guess there are many different options for many different people. And I guess, we will see more and more people on the street.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Peter, can I give an old man's view?
Sure.
I have been very concerned about the widespread use of sat-nav systems, because to look at the sat-nav screen, the driver has to take their attention from the road. And even in a microsecond, something bad could happen as a result of that. With smart glasses, with or without a camera, the wearer has to divert their vision from straight ahead, imagine they're driving, to look up in the right-hand corner of the lens for the head-up display there. And again, they're taking their attention, they're not concentrating on the most important part of vision. And I believe, Andy, that there are already glasses available for cyclists, they're wrap-round, which have exactly what you described, information about speed, height, where you want to go, and so on. So as an old man, I have the concerns that the young generation appear not to have.
Can I give you a contra-argument?
Yes, of course.
Now people are looking at their iPhone or whatever phone they have, and they look down and drive 180, and then they will look straight, and that's much better than before.
You would go to jail in the UK if you were found holding an iPhone.
In Germany as well, and maybe in other countries also, but it's the way it is. And I see young people walking and looking at their telephone, at their mobile, and they are they do not really see what happens around them. So I would prefer to have a lens where this view is blended with the environment,
projected to distance.
Yeah. Yariv, you wanted to add a comment, or?
Yeah, I have just two small comments on this one. One is that exactly what you said, Peter, is that when you project the display straight ahead, it's not necessarily to the corner. It can be right on the road, half transparent, so you can see both. And there's also a matter of what is the focal distance of that projection, because if you're looking at far distance, to accommodate to the far distance, you need to be able to see that collimated light. And the second thing is, I think this would take probably as much time as it would to complete the autonomous cars. So in that sense, I'm not sure it's going to be people that are actually driving. They'll be sitting, letting the car drive itself. So if we were talking before about how complex the systems are going to be and we're not being able to really control them, I think this will happen to cars just as fast as it would to the head-mounted displays.
Yeah. Okay. I'm now coming to the last question. Online trade is growing steadily, and technical possibilities may soon be so advanced that, for example, visual acuity, contrast, and so on can be measured in a reliable way. And so does this development will affect only opticians, or does it also have an impact on your work or on industrial companies in general? Will it change the whole business? What do you think?
I'm happy to tell you it won't change my work, because my work is to teach young people how light gets from A to B. Full stop.
Yeah, and lenses will still have to be made if you sell them online or if you sell them, in another manner. But I could see influence also on the manufacturing side of the business, in the sense of online companies may have different value propositions. So, for example, again, I talked about that earlier about speed and the increasing need for speed in some of the business models. So if that is a proposition that they have to deliver those glasses very fast to the customer, then they're also going to be looking for very fast manufacturing technologies, right? So maybe, I can order my glasses today online, and a value proposition is that I have them tomorrow in the mail, right? I mean, something like that would have an effect on the way they manufacture the lenses, and then is an opportunity and a challenge, of course, for technology providers.
It may be an advantage for smaller companies, because if you can order digitally a lens, who would need Essilor or Hoya or other big companies? The people could also order directly from a small company. We saw these kind of changes with YouTube, with videos, with music, where formerly big companies had the equipment, which was very expensive, and at the end now you can buy your audio equipment and go to your garage and produce music in a very sophisticated way. So I thought, or I think it may change. Also, it could change the way the manufacturers or the sales of the manufacturers, of the big ones, so that the smaller ones have better opportunities to sell their lenses. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's a possibility. The main problem with undoubtedly online selling is a thing, and people looking for this immediate experience of purchase and very fast reception of the glasses is probably the main advantage of this thing. But I still don't see that the expertise that is needed both for the eye exam, the measurement of parameters, of even the most basic parameters, not just sophisticated individualization parameters. I think this will be a major issue I don't see that a proper service, a quality service, can be achieved, at least in the near term, by online sale. Although it's undoubtedly a big thing, it's getting a big thing, but I cannot see that will completely substitute the standard model.
No, it's okay. Thank you very much. We had a long discussion now. We're around about 2 hours. It's almost 6 o'clock now. Thank you very much for this peaceful discussion between people from Israel, from France, from Spain, from England, from the US, and from Germany. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it very much, and I hope you do as well. And I want to thank you and hand over to Hannah again.
Yeah, what is left to say? I like to thank you also. I really enjoyed listening to you and talking to you. Yeah, I'd like to thank every one of you for taking part, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Hannah and Peter,
it's been a pleasure.
for your hospitality.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure chatting with you guys.
Danke sehr.
Bye-bye.